Hello, greetings everybody. I want to welcome you here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music, and I got a Twitch going on already. So we're here, episode number 10, or actually it's album number 10 of my 31 albums that introduced me into these bands. And we're talking about Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance, July 22nd. This is the number 10 on the list. And absolutely killer album, came out in 1982. So just before we get too far into this, what we're doing here, of course, is I'm giving you my top 31 albums for the month of July that introduced me to the bands that we are doing as well. So this album was the first Judas Priest I owned. It introduced me to Judas Priest. Now, of course, I had heard other songs by Judas Priest on the radio and that, but this was the actual first album that I owned and became listening to and really developed an interest in this band. Back then, they were probably a top 25 band. Now, they've reached that pinnacle now where they are moving into my top elite bands. They're in the 13th, 14th spot, somewhere in there, battling it out with AC/DC currently. They have a lot more albums to go through than AC/DC. Well, AC/DC does have a lot of albums, but they're Brian Johnson era albums. I don't know that they're going to be as impactful as the ones from Judas Priest, but we will see. So anyways, this album came out in 1982. Super album. Like, it's just grown with me continuously. Back in the day when I got it, it was probably in my, maybe it might have been in my top 50 albums of all time, one of my 2 or 3 top favorite metal albums of that era, but was always played second fiddle to The Number of the Beast. No longer. It is now, to me, a better album overall. This has nothing but killer tracks on it. It's got a couple of extra bonus tracks on this particular remake of the album, remastered issue of the album. Covers killer, of course. So, it's got that combination of the Hellion and the Electric Eye to Open. That's killer, no doubt about it. Then you got Riding on the Wind, which may be one of the best Judas Priest songs ever made. Absolutely killer. Bloodstone keeps it going. Take These Chains, another absolutely crushing song. And Pain and Pleasure, which ends that side of the album, absolutely killer. Then you get to the backside and you get that, to me, one of the great screams and one of the great heavy metal songs of all time, Screaming for Vengeance. And then you got Another Thing Coming, maybe a little bit on the overplayed side, a little bit of a burnout song. But I don't hate it. Some people do, I don't. And then Fever and Devil's Child. Devil's Child being one of those underrated masterpieces, I think, of this particular album and of Judas Priest and metal in general. Absolutely killer album. Coming here at number 10 today on my 31 albums that introduced me to these bands. This was the album that introduced me to Judas Priest. Killer album. So what I have to say is that if you like metal, this is definitely one of the classic metal albums that you should own. I think this is a great Judas Priest album. They have lots. This is just one of the great ones, but this is my particular one that introduced me to the band. It may actually be my favorite Judas Priest album after all as well. But hell of an album. So I hope you've liked this episode. If you have, hit the like and subscribe. Any comments about this album, Judas Priest, or the series, or how you feel about any of what I've said, that's fine. You can put that in the comment section below. Do not forget to hit the notification bell so that you do not miss the rest of the series. And I want to just thank you, the subscribers and people watching the show, for showing up today and watching this. And I hope you have a good day. Take care and good day. Goodbye.